Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this Business Advisory Services update. I'm joined today by Brad Smart, the Managing Director of Selling the Message. How are you today, Brad?
I'm well, thanks, Peter.
Brad, next Wednesday at 11:30 a.m, we're doing a special presentation on communications, and communications in particular as how it might apply to accountants in public practice and to the small business and medium-sized enterprise business operators. So what is virtual corporate communications?
Well, of course, Peter, everything's going virtual these days. We see the virtual CFO service, which is a fantastic idea, I think. I wish it had only been around when my business was a whole lot bigger. But these days, corporate communications can be in the same boat. It can be virtual as well.
Yeah.
Where I think COVID has basically made that for us. We have the infrastructure now, we've got fast internet, and COVID has legitimized Zoom as a method of business communications. If you said you were going to use Zoom 2 years ago, people would think you were, one of those experimental nuts. But now it's been accepted as a great form of briefing. Now, you and I have done some business over the time. I've written material for you. I've never met you face to face.
That's right. Yeah.
Your corporate communications when I've worked with you have been virtual. So we're basically doing that. And extending that out. I've trained a lot of journalists for the Seven Network, for Wind Television, and for Southern Cross Austereo. I've only met one of them, and I've trained probably 20 of them.
Right.
It's all being done virtually now. Now, for small and medium-sized businesses and accountants, $100,000 to put a corporate communications person on staff is unrealistic for many of them. And it's not only that cost, it's the on costs, and then it's the support staff that they need. So that becomes a permanent drain on their payroll. Now, big PR agencies and advertising agencies have lavish front of house, and the client has to pay for that. Not so with virtual communications. You've got access to advice and access to people to perform those tasks that are necessary for you to get your message out there, all at the press of a button.
Okay, so it sounds so what type of services are you going to be able to provide to accountants to help their SME clients? Well,
I think out of the impact that COVID has inflicted on many accountancy practices and SMEs, they're going to need to get out there now and start re-establishing their brand name with their existing clients and with their future clients. What we would be providing will be social media content to, particularly if those businesses happen to be B2C. And of course, most accountants are B2C operators, even if they're working with businesses as their main clients, because they're the end user. So that means updating content for Facebook, for Instagram, and of course, if it's B2B, the business-to-business communication that they're really interested in as their sales objectives, then it's LinkedIn. Then we'd be drafting media releases. We've got a lot of experience in this. I still believe there's a lot of value left for SMEs and for accountancy firms in traditional media. I don't think everything needs to be put into the digital pot.
I agree with you there, yeah.
Yeah, we'd also be creating blogs. Now, I've written many blogs for people like yourselves, and also for websites. There's a website called Radio Info. When I write for Radio Info, they say, oh, we get 10 times the readership when you write compared to our normal articles. So that's why, of course, they want me to keep writing for them. The whole thing about blogging is it establishes credibility and it establishes authority. It sets companies up as the leader of thought in their particular field. Then we'd move on to writing email chains and sales funnels. We could do reports, newsletters, and promotional material. There's graphics and website design. And of course, my specialty is really in video. I've been doing videos for nearly 40 years for major clients like Telstra, IBM, Ericsson, Multiplex, Microsoft, and governments around the world. We've had terrific response from our videos, or they wouldn't keep using us, of course. Then I've also trained, as I mentioned before, training TV and radio journalists, but I've trained senior executives and public servants in how to sell the message. CEOs are generally bright people. They know how to write a presentation, but very often they can't sell that to an audience of any size, whether it's a one-on-one with a sales meeting or an audience in an auditorium. They have difficulty getting that message across.
Okay, right.
And finally, I'd say strategic advice. We can offer the experience that we've had over 40 years in this industry, and many companies make decisions that impact on their brand and impact on their reputation. And, before they make some of these controversial decisions, maybe they want to have a talk and see what impact it's likely to have from a third party can see.
Okay, so that hopefully gives our listeners a good idea of what we're going to be discussing on Wednesday, the 10th of February at 11:30 a.m. AEST. And we'll be doing a live feed on Facebook on that occasion. So thank you very much, Brad. I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday, when we'll have a full 30-minute overview of this very important area of corporate communications. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it too, Peter.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.